Closing out week 3 in the AFLE, we travel to the United Kingdom for the London Warriors to play host to the visiting Alpine Rams. Two teams set to battle it out and try to earn their first victory. The London Warriors are coming off a tough road trip against the heavyweight Rhine Fire, and they'll look to bounce back against the newly formed Alpine Rams.
There's the lone touchdown of the evening there to Joseph Hamilton.
The Rams of Switzerland struggled early in their first game last week, but found momentum in the second half, with quarterback Gabriel Cunningham and wide receiver Devin Burrell bringing a spark to the offense. Gabriel Cunningham with the first ever touchdown in Alpine's Rams history. One squad will walk away with their first win of the season, and the other will head back to the drawing board.
What an athletic catch. Bouquet goes up and makes an acrobatic catch.
It's the final game of week 3 in the AFLE season here at Cherry Red Records Stadium. All right, Danny, that is our final game of the weekend. Back to Cherry Red Records Stadium for the London Warriors after being on the road against the Rhine Fire. These are two teams that have not won a game yet. Obviously, London 0-2, the Alpine Rams 0-1. So one of these teams is going to walk away with the first win of the season. And I think this could be a really interesting one, man. These are two very, very hungry teams. I think the Alpine Rams really, like I said, in the second half of their first game, started to pick it up and move in the right direction, right trajectory there. London, little bit, it's hard to tell because was it a step back against the Rhine Fire? It's tough. There's a lot of different factors there. What are your initial thoughts on this one?
Man, I think this one's going to come down to the wire. Like you said, I think these are two teams that are hungry for a win. They're also trying to find themselves. I do believe when they match up with each other, they haven't really felt success. They'd have, I'll give the Rams example, right? The Rams did make a fight back, but they haven't felt truly what it feels like when you start to pull away from a team or dominate. The same thing with London. London showed some flashes of greatness versus Warsaw. They did fight last week versus the Rhine Fire, but they really haven't put everything together. So this is an opportunity for both teams to not only showcase who they are versus each other, but more importantly, who they are to each other, what they are as an organization, as a team. This is going to come down to the wire, man.
The chat's going crazy on this one. Davide Kovac says the two of the best UK DPs are playing for the Rams, and that's you got Chad Walleran and you got Okunlola in that defensive backfield. So this is going to be kind of a homecoming game for them. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Ricardo Foglio says Warriors have a winning culture behind, but I can see the Rams sneak in a win here. Oliver, the Rams have elite playmakers, but those 20 penalties against Berlin were a killer. If they don't fix the discipline, London's physical defense will suffocate them. The chat's getting after it here. These are nice little analyses on our game this weekend. Yeah, Danny, I think, Kari Lyles, obviously, threw for just over 100 yards last weekend against the Rhine Fire. But again, it's very, very hard to make a judgment off that. And like I said, I think 95 teams out of 100 are going to lose that game on the road against the Rhine Fire. So it'll be a little bit more of an even match, I would say, of these two kind of they're new teams into the league, new playing at the European-wide level. So I do think that we're in for a treat. Now, do you want me to go first on this one? Chat, you guys can also start putting in your guesses here, your picks, Rams or Warriors. Who you think is going to win the final game of week 3? What do you think, Danny?
Well, you were so generous to go first the last time. I'll take this one first, Nick. I appreciate you playing along with me in the rock, paper, scissors. I was going to drop a bomb about that going with the Rhine Fire. My heart was racing too much. That's why I needed you to go the last one. Man, this one's a tough one for me, though, man. I do think this is a game where both teams are evenly matched. And why I say they're evenly matched is we have two teams that are trying to find themselves. The Rams have one game under their belt. The Warriors have two, but two really tough games. The Warriors defense, and we've seen it in the chat a couple times, the Warriors defense is a tough defense. Personnel-wise, they've got the great guys out there. Coach Kent is leading that group. Coach Shannon on the offensive side, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm going crazy right now. I'm jumping back to Berlin on this. I'm talking about, Coach Allen on the offensive side for London. I think they're starting to put things together offensively there. But with that all said, I still think the X factor in this game is Gabe Cunningham. We saw the flashes last week. Gabe Cunningham is the modern day Michael Vick of this league. So I'm going to have to go with the Rams because I think Gabe Cunningham creates electric ability when he touches the football, man.
Hey, you're right, man. I was comparing him to Cam Newton in the game the other day, which was when he had a couple of those red zone touchdown runs. Let's see. We've got the Warriors coming back home to Cherry Red Records, and hopefully get a little bit more of a crowd here this time. They have a little bit more leeway or headway for fans to know that the game is at this stadium, and it should be a great one. I think that I'm going to have to lean towards the Rams, but I think London is going to walk away with new life and feeling also like, okay, that's a step in the right direction. If I was a Rams fan last week, they lost the game to the Berlin Thunder. But if I'm a Rams fan, I'm walking away from that feeling pretty good because you saw the trajectory change and the improvement. I think that this is kind of what's going to happen in London this weekend. Going to be a tight ball game, but ultimately those playmakers on the Rams, you Gabriel Cunningham, you got Devin Burrell, you got these guys, you got a guy like Timothy Sherman on the defense, DeMarco Ortiz on the defense, Jack Lowe on the defense. So a lot of these guys that I think are getting after it. I'll go Rams. But if you're a London Warriors fan, you're going to feel pretty good and you feel like, okay, we're getting it figured out here. And then possibly the next week and we'll get a win here. So we're going with the Rams on this one. But Danny, not an easy decision. Not an easy decision at all, right?
No, not at all. And actually, if you would have gone first, I would have flipped and gone to the London Warriors. I'll be real, just to try to get those points. But man, this is, like you said, and I say that because I think this is one of those games that is a coin flip, man. And it's going to come down to the very end of how clean each one of these teams can play. I think this game's going to be a great football game to watch, just like every game we get to see this weekend, man.
Hey, you know what? Screw it. Maxie, flip me back. I'm going London. I just had a change of heart. I'm going London. They're at home. It's going to happen. Give me the London Warriors. Flip it. All right?
Oh, man.
Okay? I just got an overwhelming feeling on that one, man. All right, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will regret that. But I'm going with the London Warriors. Sorry, Alpine Rams is in the chat. The actual football team is in the chat right now. You know, I love you guys. I'm going there. All right. So there we have it.